How are you? I hope you're doing well. I wanted to come on here today and talk. Imagine that. If you look on my channel, and thank you for clicking on this video, and welcome to my spiritual channel. My name is Iman. Up until quite recently, I was a political activist in Canada. But I decided that the best approach from here on forth for me is through a spiritual approach. So, welcome. When I escaped my part of the world, I escaped for many reasons. And I chose Canada for many reasons. Some of these reasons are I lived under radical Islam, which collectivizes people. And I always saw myself as an individual from a very, very young age, even as a child. Even as a child, I rejected the messages that were coming at me from the authority figures. Even as a child, a little girl. Imagine that. How dare I? How dare I? But I always recognized that I'm an individual. And as such, I decided to go to the West. Because the West respected individuality and they had laws that didn't interfere between you and your consciousness. Because we are all born with a very authentic blueprint that is very, very specific to us. Because we are individuals, not a collective. And I was always very in touch with some fairly strong core attributes, core elements in me. And freedom was a big one. Freedom, I've always identified. It's a core attribute for me. And as such, I knew that I could not continue to exist. The reality that I was in that part of the world, living under a collectivist ideology, which is radical Islam, that pushes itself onto people and punishes the individual, I wouldn't survive it. I would not survive it. Don't get me wrong, I did not live in fear. At some point, fear was literally injected into me. And that's when I lost my way a little bit and came to Canada. But that's another video. But for the most part, I rejected fear, and I think you'll see that on the videos that I have on this channel. You're also going to see videos where I sit with diagrams and I talk to you about a personality test. Silly me. I would strongly suggest that you watch those videos and maybe find a way to take that personality test through the Enneagram Institute or somewhere else. Try it for free. But there's a reason for this. The reason I bring religion and the reason I bring authority and collectivism here is because I live in Canada, and Canada, I live in the Civil West, or what used to be the Civil West, up until, what hit, Canada started to become collectivist. The individual has been lost once again. And should you wish to exercise your individuality by not following specific, very oppressive mandates and rules that suddenly appeared out of nowhere, that have nothing to do with medicine or safety, you begin to get punished through the government, as well as society does not look kindly upon you in Canada should you go outside of the collectivist box that has been placed around us. Surprisingly, a lot of people are fine with this. The area that I'm in on the eastern aspect of Canada, clearly. They love it. Love the control. Love it. Which is fascinating to somebody like me. But anyhow, like I said, maybe that's another video as well. But I do bring these items up for a reason. I'm of the mindset that we should all figure out who we are. One of the ways to figure out who you are, your authentic blueprint, your authentic self, which will then allow you to live an authentic life on this planet, in this world, and it will yield completely different experiences to you, divine experiences. You will truly live magnificence. Many of us right now are living mediocre lives. Many of us are living in slavery. We just refuse to acknowledge it. We've lied to ourselves, or we've believed the external lies that are constantly, I mean, honestly, constantly being pumped at us, telling us that we are righteous, telling us that we are great, telling us that we are free, telling us that we are amazing, where in fact we are none of that. So, like I said, even as a little girl, I always knew my authentic blueprint when it comes to freedom, and I knew my strengths, and I knew the things that I rejected to believe, which included fear and hate, the othering of people. That message it just never sat well with me, and it didn't matter how much fear, authority figures were trying to pump into us citizens. It didn't work. If anything, it almost had the opposite effect on me. The more they told me to stay away from a group of people, the more I just wanted to go and throw myself in the arms of that group of people. How do you find yourself reacting to the fearful messages of your authority figures, your public health, your government, your mayors? How do you find yourself reacting? Do you believe them when they tell you to hate your neighbor and report on them because they're doing something different? Do you? Or do you choose to reject and look the other way and not report on your neighbors? The area I'm in, everybody reports on everyone. My business was actually shut down. It was shut down because I would not wear a mask and I was deemed as a danger. I escaped radical Islam. By the way, this is the funniest thing. And for me to sit here and say this to you smiling takes a lot of, it took me a lot of work, because this drove me insane. I came to Canada. One of the many reasons I came here was because I did not want to cover my face by force against my will. One of the biggest nightmares I would have was to find myself suddenly in a society that forces me to cover my face. Imagine being afraid, having a arachnophobia, like being afraid of spiders. And for 2 years, you've been forced to live amongst spiders. 2 years by government orders. That's the only way I can express to you how much I truly hate being made to cover my face against my will. But I lost my business. And I showed people a valid medical exemption. It was registered by the public health here. Didn't matter. I lost my business anyway. Do you think that's right? Do you think I should have lost my business because I have a valid medical exemption, because I'm a woman who escaped radical Islam, where I was treated like garbage and forced to live in a garbage bag for 26 years? Do you agree? If you do agree, then I suggest you find another channel to watch. This video is not for you. If you don't agree, then please continue watching this video, because it is only by destroying fear, and there is nothing to fear but the energy of fear itself. It is only by ridding yourself of the energy of fear and its heart, but it can be done, and I can help. Not trying to sell you anything, just telling you I can help. You will begin to find yourself soaring in this world, in this life, succeeding, people looking up to you. Which is why I am sitting here doing this video, talking. And this video is not structured, and I'm sorry if people hate that. But it's the best way to do it. Unearthing your authentic self will help you understand the qualities, the attributes, and the values that are your gifts, that you are here on this earth and on this planet to share with humanity. Religion, which for the most part tends to be pumped into society through men and women, not through gods. There's no gods out there spewing religion, it's all humans. The reason people reject religion, seems to me in the West at least, people reject religion. My part of the world is not quite where the West is with religion, but we're growing in numbers. The reason religion is rejected by so many and seen as something not good is because of the control that was implemented through the church and the religious figures, regardless in the East or the West. The control in the East remains. Now, the East is starting to come out of it. But the West seems to have fallen back into a form of mental ideology, cult, religion. I see environmentalism right now as a religion. It is designed to control humans. It is designed to implement rules and laws that you can't challenge them, you can't question them. And if you do, you get in trouble. It was the same for what happened over the past 2 years. The non-science that was implemented harmed a lot of people. But yet it was enforced just for the sake of being enforced, and that's not the way rules work. And I feel like the West has lost its way here. You don't enforce rules just to enforce rules. You don't enforce rules and take joy in the harm they cause others as you enforce them and mock people. That's called fascism. But the reason religion is rejected generally is because it suppresses humanity through fear and control. It suppresses your authentic self, and it suppresses you from living as the great divine being that you are meant to be. And here we are again in the world, finding ourselves being suppressed. I'm not going to say oppressed, because people are of different mindsets right now. But we're being suppressed. Definitely being suppressed by some voice. There's always a voice out there telling you what to do, how to think, to be afraid, and to worry. Constantly worry, and look over your shoulder, and be angry. And you will not succeed because this person did this to your grandfather 100 years ago. Or this happened to your tribe 200 years ago. Or this person colonized your land I don't know how many years ago, and you should be angry. These are all messages of control, meant to keep you stuck in a way that is not your way. It is the way of others. So please consider looking through some of the videos that I did, especially the ones where I talk about how you can find who you are, how you can find your attributes. And then please comment somewhere, comment on this video. Tell me where you're at in this life. Are you lost? Are you constantly finding yourself searching for information and hope and security outside of you? Are you constantly looking at the empty suits that are in your government as your moral compass? Is this where you take your inspiration from? The men and women that you don't know that are in the government and on TV and on the news, scaring you. Should they be your moral compass? Or should your moral compass be something else? I'm going to finish off here, but let me say this to you. Let's say there was $10 million sitting in a bank somewhere with your name. That $10 million belongs to you, and only you, no one else but you. No one knows about this $10 million, by the way. No one's going to tell you about them, but they're there. And it's yours, waiting to be collected. Wouldn't you like to have this money? Can you imagine? What would you do? Endless. Be nice. What if I told you that you can find that money by digging a little bit into who you are, into your unconscious mind? What if spending some quality time with yourself in meditation unlocks this information for you? Would you be interested in meditating? Would you be interested in learning more about who you truly are, not what your government, your health authorities, and the news is telling you that you are?